The back control is one of the three major pins that I teach. The other two being the mount and the side control. Of those three pins, this is without a doubt the most dominant of them. When I am on the back, I am aimed at my opponent with my center line. He's in my crosshairs where I can start attacking, and very little of my body is even in a position that he can see. Unless I make some pretty drastic mistakes, go ahead. I don't really have to worry a whole lot about being submitted from this position. Most of his thoughts are going to be consumed with defense and escape, leaving me to focus on my attacks and just relentlessly go after his neck and his arms. A few things that I'm looking for to secure the position when I am back here behind somebody's shoulder. First, I want to be chest to back, lined up with our center lines basically matching. The further I go away from spine to spine alignment, the more I begin to lose this position and lose my ability to circle the neck and attack a choke. So I want to be chest to back. I will generally look for an overarm and an underarm. From here, I both can control and fight his grips while also attacking with the other hand that goes over the shoulder. So my hands will serve different purposes. I'm going to try to have my head and my arm over opposite shoulders. So if my arm is over one shoulder, I need to be over the other shoulder with my chin and my head, almost looking to get ear to ear and hold on like a backpack. This is going to bring me tighter chest to back and also help me get more of a reach over his shoulder and get deeper with my chokes. With my lower body, I am generally looking for 2 hooks as a starting point. And then from there, we will have some other leg alignments, such as our outside hooks and our body triangles. When I am on someone's back, I want to be thinking about which of my arms are over the shoulder, whether it is my bottom side arm that I can choke with, or it's my top side arm that I'm choking with. These are going to give me different attacking options and let me do different things as I'm fighting his grips in terms of limiting his defenses. As we fall to one hip or the other, we now have a bottom and top side hook with our lower body. Keep in mind that our bottom side hook, whether it hooks inside of the leg or across the hip in a few different kinds of ways, this bottom hook is my most important hook of the two in terms of keeping this position. I'm going to have plenty of things for this top hook to do, but even against a moderately skilled opponent, as long as I have this bottom hook, I'll be able to control and possibly even finish from the position. So we want to avoid losing this hook and winding up in a situation where our opponent can slide their hips out and away from us and start to escape. This is the best position in all of jiu-jitsu. If you wind up here, do not try to leave this position. He is just dumping energy while I am getting to rest and attack his neck at the same time. But inevitably, he's going to start trying to escape. And as that hip slides out a little bit more, boom, right there. Go ahead and settle in. As that hip starts to escape, I'm going to have 3 main ways that I can try to retain a top position. I can throw my leg all the way across and build up towards mount. A second option, as he starts to slide his hips out and away, is that I would leave that top hook in its place, hooking inside of the thigh. And now, even if he frees this elbow that was keeping me behind his shoulder, I can beat him to a top position as he turns in and wind up in top half guard, going after cross face underhook and pinning him very similarly to how we did in side control. A last option in dealing with that escape, sometimes we might find that we've lost the hip completely and it's going to be very tough for me to beat him to a top position if I start moving around. So now I'm gonna take my leg all the way outside, and I make sure, turn for me, to stay glued behind this elbow so he can't turn and face me with his chest. And now that I'm completely detached with the rest of my body, I start sitting up to come chest to chest over top of him, and I can either attack from a side-on position, or I can use this position behind the elbow to immediately re-attack the back. As far as submissions on the back, the major ways that we will first learn to attack are by circling the neck and choking, either with one hand or two, and we will learn how to trap this arm to make both of those easier. In an attempt to not be completely one-dimensional, we will also be looking at sliding off and attacking the arm to give us a back and forth, a problem, a dilemma that we're creating for this guy. A real conundrum with no solution. Do you want me to take your neck, or do you want me to take your arm? And by having a couple options to work back and forth, we're really able to get under that chin with a pretty high percentage. From here, like, we just don't have enough movement capability to go after a ton of different things. We're pretty rooted on the back. This arm's already over the shoulder. This is a case of don't reinvent the wheel. We don't need a bunch of options. We'll have a few different ones. We have triangles from back here. There are some head and arm chokes that we'll hit, but those are a little bit more rare, and they're not necessarily the foundation that we build a system on. When this guy is on my back, again, I want to reverse engineer everything that he's doing to me. So he wants to get under my neck, so I take top position over his choking hand to fight that before it can come up close to my neck and circle around my head. Now, from here, I'm fighting grips. In the same way that we talked about wanting head and arm on other side, I can start unwinding that and strap to our hip. I can start unwinding that, not in an attempt to go for some type of goofy 1970s police academy armbar, but just simply to break down his connection and his alignment with my body. As I start to bring myself closer and closer towards safety and further away from that choke, I can start fighting this leg battle where now I'm the one sliding out and away. And we're gonna have some different escapes as we get out and away, some different executions for the actual end of it based on how they throw their legs. So we'll have options for they've thrown all the way across the hip. We'll have options for they leave their foot hooking inside, and we'll have options for they are going to try to completely detach other than this upper body grip and take a side position. So we're gonna have things that we'll plan to do in all those scenarios so that we're not lost when our opponent also checks out these options and starts hitting them on us. As much as possible, as you are working all of these different defensive tactics, try to limit your opponent's ability to reach under your elbow and start controlling with that bottom side grip. As I'm stripping it away, if I can fight for inside elbow position and then glue that to my body, similar to how we talked about from mount when we were preventing the knees from coming high up in the armpit, now it's the elbow and the arm that I don't want to come high up in my armpit. So I'm nice and tight. When he goes to fight back under there, it's tough. He's left with two grips over the shoulder, back over, which, yes, sure, he has now two hands he could attack with, but he has no real control. So he has nothing that keeps us aligned chest to back, and I can start sliding out and away and go for my different escapes from here. As for scoring, the criteria that most tournaments are looking for, first and foremost, is 2 hooks. As like I know IBJJF only accepts 2 hooks as far as a lower body alignment, I can get an advantage if I take the back with a body triangle, but I won't get points until I throw in hooks for 3 seconds. IBJJF also requires an over-under grip. So under grips and over grips, I believe score an advantage. Don't quote me on that. It's a long handbook, but they don't score points. This scores points. This pulls me nice and attached. It keeps me in position, and it gives me a hand to control with and a hand to choke with. Once you take the position, the referee is going to start counting out 1, 2, 3, and then they're going to award you 4 points. One reason that we want to pay a lot of attention to those failings of the back and how we could either take mount, side control, or half guard is in how that plays out in the points that might come after this position. If I'm losing position and I take the mount, I'll score 4 points. If I lose it and I wind up in side control and then I retake the back, I can score 4 more points. If I get up on top and I start passing, I get stuck in his half guard and I have to pass, well, now I'm looking at passing points plus whether I land in side control for no points, just the pass, or I land in mount and score additional points for that as well. All right, guys, thanks for watching. Stay tuned. We got a lot more planned.